Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are, whoever you are, and welcome once again to Nerd Week Live, the show brought to you by us, the folks at Nerd Caliber, where we talk about all kinds of nerd news that dropped out there in the news media over the last week since our last show. And boy, is there a lot this week. Starting right out of the gate, I'm Rodney Brown. I'm the editor in chief of Nerd Caliber, first person shooter on Facebook, Burley underscore adopter on Twitter, blah, blah, blah. Joining me tonight, let's see, we're going to go clockwise this time. So, Mr. Star Wars, it's a Star War. Introduce yourself, Star War.
Hi guys, Byron McNeil, aka Byron D0, contributing writer, video content creator, and social media submitter on occasion. I am glad to be here to talk nerdy things with you guys. It's the highlight of my day, the highlight of my week usually. Yep.
Get out more, but
yeah, in the pandemic, right?
Well,
I'll
yeah,
do
okay.
that.
Good point.
Yeah. But if you like fan art, if you like cartooning, you should check out some of my work on Instagram at BDZEROART. That's BD0Art.
Cool,
Check it
cool.
out.
And the man with the, well, I guess it's still a red cap. Every time your color changes in the background, your cap changes color. But Lewis, if you would introduce yourself.
It's fantastic when it does that, right? It's, for all us photographers, we totally understand how color corrections work.
No, it's a blue dress. No, it's a gold dress. Sorry, go on.
Well, it's great to be back, guys. As always, I enjoy being here with my colleagues to have a fantastic discussion about what nerd news is hitting us this week and sometimes last week. And we got a lot going on tonight. So if you guys want to chime in the comments, this is a live show, so we do monitor our comments. So if you want to kick in a little bit here and there and have a nice conversation with us, we'll do our best to reply to everything there. But also, because I skipped over my own name, it's Louis Correa, also known as Crash the Stampede on Steam, and I have my own Twitch channel now. If you want to come and catch some of my playthroughs, my conversations, I have some interviews with people local that I'm looking forward to share more of also. And I'm looking to have more of my friends, wink, wink, these two gentlemen here, to join me on something, maybe some borrowed drama or something in the near future. But also, I'm a co-producer with Nerd Caliber, and I'm looking forward to some measure of con season coming back, so I can go back to doing some of that. But come check us out and come look at our galleries at Nerd Caliber as well, and check out our Patreon.
Absolutely. And anytime, Lewis, anytime you want me on, let me know. So in the chats already, we have Mike King, welcome to the show. Creeper King, welcome to the show. Since Byron's the only one with a Star Wars background, Creeper King, I'm assuming nice Star Wars background is directed at Byron. All right, so we're going to start right off. Like I said, busy stuff. That is, of course, characters and cast members from The Flash on CW, and the news that dropped just a couple hours ago is that the two on the left, or the left in the middle, Tom Cavanaugh, who plays Harrison Wells, and Eobard Thawne, and anyway, mostly Harrison Wells, and Carlos Valdez, who plays Cisco Ramon, will not be returning for the 8th season of the show. This current ongoing 7th season will be their last, and apparently Cavanaugh was supposed to be gone by the end of season 6, but I guess with COVID, he hung around enough to do stuff, and so anyway, it's complicated. But that's it. The show has been renewed for season 8. They won't be there.
It for me, it won't be the same without them. I mean, I kind of fell off with all the CW DC shows, but I mean, for the time for that period of time when I was dedicated to watching all these series, they were some of the best parts of it. Like, I loved all the different incarnations of Harrison Wells, especially as they got more out there. And
yeah, see, I didn't. I thought that they stretched that way too far. I loved him as both the original Harrison Wells, who was a wonderful character,
and Harry.
Okay, Harry was pretty good too. And as Thawne, who was a horrible character. Well, he's a great character, but a horrible, Wonderful villain.
Harry was probably my favorite just because, you know, he was like, he was such, he was like, he was what I felt Barry needed at that time, because he was just like the grumpy bastard who was just like, nope, shut up. Unless you have something to say that's important, do not talk to me.
Yeah, all right. I can see that.
Yeah.
Like season 7 or 8 is usually when people just start diving out anyways, you know?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Allergies. Damn those trees. Burn them all down. Whatever the Lorax says, screw him. Yeah, but, you know, they had a great run. Put it that way. I'm interested in seeing if Kavanaugh does something non-nerd, because that's more his background. And really interested in seeing where Valdez goes. I mean, I think he's a really good actor. I'd like to see him do something other than just, you know, hi, I'm funny support guy.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll maybe he will focus more on his music.
I didn't know he was a musician. That would be
cool.
Yeah,
he has a band called The Los, and he's got a pretty good voice. So I'd love to see
the Spanish version of the. I love it. I love it. Do they play all covers of the band stuff? I'm sorry. You'd have to be old enough to get that, folks. That was a band back in the 80s.
Los, or is it just Los? Because
it's THA Los. Dalos.
Oh, okay. Well, still, it's kind of the.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because it's his band,
right?
Because it's But yeah, I'm. You know, that might be where he's shifting gears towards more anyway.
All right, I'll take it. Creeper King. I watched The Flash like 10 times. It will be sad without them. Yeah, and you know. I'm with Byron. I've kind of fallen off the bandwagon there, although we will get to more CW stuff down the road in this show. All right, moving on to the next topic, and this is a tough one. This is the bad news of the night, folks. That is Noel Clarke as Mickey, one of Doctor Who's companions back during the David Tennant run, and who is best known probably for that here on this side of the pond. On the other side of the pond, he is apparently a very prolific actor, producer, has his own production company called, it's right here in this article, which I can't find easily because it's a really big article. Anyway, after the British Academy of Film and Television Arts gave him an Outstanding British Contribution to Cinema Award, literally just like a week and a half ago, The Guardian came out with a massive article with named quotes from people accusing him, 20 plus women accusing him of sexual harassment, sexual abuse, bullying, groping, unwanted touching. As soon as this article, and I've got the Guardian article up here, came out, he put out a statement immediately categorically denying it. As of a couple of days ago, he has put out a statement saying that he clearly needs to seek professional help.
What an asshole.
I mean, folks, if you can stomach it, read this article, and you know, all the praise to the women who are willing to be named, even the ones that are not, but the women who are willing to be named in their accusations in this article. Because, you know, that just carries so much more weight for the people who are on the fence maybe about the, you know, you believe the victims. You know, you can't deny this.
I mean, it hurts me not just as a Doctor Who fan, but as a man of color, because, you know, it's right up there with Bill Cosby. It was like, just because you get a little bit of notoriety, you think that you have carte blanche to just do whatever you want to whoever you want, and that for whatever reason the system or the establishment is going to have your back, and then something like this happens, and like I'm disgusted by him, and I'm disappointed in this system that makes famous men of color think that they can do this kind of stuff.
Well, famous men of color, men who acquire power of any color, or men of any color who acquire power. I mean, over here, sure, Bill Cosby was before him, but Harvey Weinstein is more, this sort of. I get the impression that most of what Clarke did was in his role as a producer, making the movie, some of which he starred in on his own, but a lot of which he didn't. Unstoppable Film and Television is the name of his production company.
Honestly, I to a degree, I echo Byron's sentiment in that, and I echo it in the sense that, like, when a person of color, man or woman, becomes prolific enough to have that much accolades heaped on them for like great work and being innovative and pushing forward in terms of things, when you are put in a public position where you're seen by the world, you're gonna be punished 10 times more for things that your colleagues of a different race like go through, especially a white person.
Exactly.
And it's terrible that, like, people are human, but at the same time, like, bro, what the fuck is gonna happen when, like, you do this. It happens to all the other people in your position, and you're gonna make it worse for the rest of us, because whenever it's Weinstein, it's just Weinstein, but whenever it's Clarke, it's all of us.
I would also say that what makes it even worse is his denial of these actions. Like, how dare you? What, like, are you really that, like, drunk on your own power to do such shit, to like double down on such deplorable behavior?
Clearly he is. I mean, again, getting back to Weinstein, look at Weinstein right now is doing literally everything he can to fight extradition to California, where he's charged in California with the same crimes or same kind of crimes, different people, that he was convicted of in New York, because he doesn't believe in his heart that he did anything wrong. And I'm sure Clarke is in the same boat. His statement that he needs to seek professional help is literally, I don't know this for sure, it sounds very much like what the professional disaster handlers tell people to tell you to say.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to get it out there and say you need to seek professional help, whether you really mean it or not. Otherwise, you're done in the industry. And frankly, he needs to be done in the industry.
Or he'll do what people like him do, and they'll disappear out of the public eye for 2-3 years, reappear in something small, then they'll do the walk of shame, where they do videos with soft, sad music in the background, apologizing, and then they do the Oprah shows and shit like that, and now they're good in the public eye, despite the people who came out, who spoke out against them, not receiving any justice.
Brett Ratner is in the first stage of that right now, trying to make movies in Hollywood again. Hopefully people will tell him no, and hopefully, the people in the British film industry will tell Clarke, no,
good,
you're gone. But
thank you, Creeper King.
Fingers crossed. Yes, Creeper King. The nerve of people with power. Well, yeah, yes. That's a little flippant, but it's true. The nerve of these people. So that, that's all there is really to say about that. We'll continue following the story so much as it continues to impinge on nerddom. But get this guy out of the industry. Greg Snyder, that's called The Gibson. Absolutely. Wonder Llama. And thanks for joining us in the chat. The Mel Gibson. It's been long enough, and I've done little minor roles in various things. Now you can forget that I'm a raging anti-Semite. That's Mel Gibson's words. I'm not. I'm just make sure that's clear. Anyway, moving on to our next topic. So much better news, sort of. That is, of course, from the movie Demon Slayer Mugen Train, and the news is Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie Mugen Train. Give it its full title. Darn those Japanese. And the news is that in this last weekend, it beat Mortal Kombat to become the #1 movie in the United States. The article I'm looking at says it's the first time in decades that an anime movie was the #1 movie. I'd have to go back and look at what they're talking about. I don't recall an anime movie ever making #1 in the box office in the U.S. I might be
Ghibli
wrong.
Movies? Even Ghibli films?
That's what I might be wrong. There might have been a Ghibli film. But I can't remember any that really particularly hit like that. So now the sort of not great news is that it made $6.4 million in its second week, knocking out Mortal Kombat, which made $6.2 million. As Matthew McConaughey would say, those are rookie numbers. And that's an indication of where we're at still with theatrical releases. 6.4 million would never have even cracked the top 10 in a May or late April weekend. It's kind of sad. I mean, not to knock the movie. It was all over my Facebook feed. Everywhere. I went to see Mugen Train. Did you guys go see? Everybody was all excited about it. But no.
So it looks like, to answer that question real quick, it's Demon Slayer, Spirited Away, Your Name, Howl's Moving Castle, and Ponyo that broke box office records.
Yeah, but I'm looking specifically for what was ever a #1 in the U.S. other than this.
I think I'm gleaming the article here, but I think respectively they were #1 when they came out.
I'm okay. I'll have to look into that. I don't think that's really the case. I would be very, very surprised. All of those movies are, as far as I know, are slow build, word of the mouth. They became as popular as they are once they hit rental or something. But I could be wrong. I'll go back and look at it.
I think that a lot of its success is kind of telling of just the times we're in because of COVID. It's one of the few. Yeah, it's one of the few movies that has that's been primarily geared towards theatrical release, with the exception of that faux pas that Sony made during its initial during the first week of release, I believe it was, where they accidentally put the sub and the dub for sale on their store.
Of Mugen Train?
Yes. Which I was one of the lucky ones to get my hands on that. I'm going to watch it tonight.
Good for you.
Thanks, Sony.
Good for you. That's a score. All right, well then maybe they'll make, or somebody will make the same mistake for our next topic. And that is that Netflix dropped the news that Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon Eternal, the movie, or Sailor Moon Eternal, as everybody calls it, is going to hit Netflix on June 3rd. For those who didn't get a chance to see it anywhere in the theaters, which would be pretty much most of the people listening to us here, because it only got released in Japan. So, again, I don't know a ton about Sailor Moon stuff, other than I take, obviously, pictures of it. That was a photograph from Katsucon many years ago. But, this is another thing that just literally blew up in my Facebook feed. Luminous, from what I've heard, beating the Mortal Kombat movie wouldn't be too hard. Yeah, we're not going to give anything away because Mortal Kombat is coming up in our full fat spoiler chat in 2 Thursdays, so...
it was definitely a movie.
It was a movie.
There was a lot of
and more so than Annihilation.
And some people had combats.
I have a lot of friends who love Sailor Moon. I loved Sailor Moon when I was a kid. Actually, one of the things that I always find really funny is my ringtone on my phone is a Sailor Moon intro. And so anytime I'm somewhere and my phone goes off, people look around and they immediately look to like the young girls or the young women, and then I'm just sitting there like, hello, and then they're like, that's you, and I'm like, yeah, I fucking love Sailor Moon. Say something. Like I always have to macho flex reflectively. Like what?
What?
Big guys can like Sailor Moon too.
Yep.
Space
No
lesbians
shame.
kick your ass.
Don't make me go Sailor Star on you, son.
Creeper King, as long as it's not live action. No, Creeper King, it's actually so it's technically the continuation of the series Sailor Moon Crystal. They decided to make what's the name of this arc? Dead Moon Circus. No, the
Black
Dead Moon
Moon
Circus.
Circus.
The Dream arc.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, from the manga, because Sailor Moon Crystal was supposedly a more closer to the manga adaptation
Right.
than the original.
I have to. I gotta chime in for a second for that remark about live action. The live action series was not that bad. It was actually pretty good if you get a chance to watch it. It's available for fan sub because for some reason no one thought it was worth licensing in the US. It's called Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon. You can find it if you do a Google search.
All right. And Creeper King, you say, I hate anime-based live-action movies. Oh, I see. I thought I misread that. Yes. Death Note? Come on, it was... Never mind.
You need to stop.
I guess. I mean, that's an Americanized movie.
True.
Actually, Alita was good.
The
Alita
Death
was
Note
great.
version,
That's
yeah.
true. Alita was excellent. And you're right. The Japanese adaptations, live-action adaptations, are often much better. It's the
Rurouni
American
Kenshin.
adaptations. I haven't seen it. I hear from you and a bunch of other people that it's actually really good. I didn't even mind the Bleach adaptation. I thought that was
I love the
good.
Bleach adaptation.
Yeah.
I think the only live action in my limited experience that I loved, but also was probably universally disliked, was the Guyver.
Guyver is like good dumb
I kind of
fun.
like. I mean, Guyver is cheesy as hell in the live action, but I kind of liked it.
It had Mark Hamill in it.
Exactly, because it had Mark Hamill.
I mean, it was fun, but it was universally panned too.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you just look at the design of the suit. Anyway, moving on to our next topic. I don't know that anybody's going to recognize that person. I didn't, but that is Killian Scott. I think this might be from the series Damnation. And the news is that this actor has been cast, or is in talks, haven't nailed it down apparently, to appear alongside Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn in the upcoming Secret Invasion series for Disney+. I know nothing about this guy, so really the reason I picked it was the photo that they used in the Deadline article, and I could not find a high enough resolution photo of it. But from whatever show that was, he has pretty short but higher on top messed up hair and a very interesting goatee. I mean, it looks like, if I were making completely wild-ass, irresponsible speculation, that they're casting him to be a Skrull Tony Stark, or the real Tony Stark, and Tony was really a Skrull and never actually died. I don't know anything about that. That's all pure speculation. I know that Skrulls will be part of Secret Invasion because A, they are, and B, Ben Mendelsohn's in it, and he plays Talos. But he could be cast for something. Who knows who he's cast? They don't say in this. They don't. Obviously, they don't say even whether he is signed. Just that he's in talks. But I don't know. You know.
Yeah.
Put a little goatee on that guy.
Maybe. I don't know. I saw Damnation, or at least a few episodes of Damnation, and he was all right as the main character, but that says a lot for a movie where, like, you know, if you're the tallest cornstalk in the field, then you probably might be the tastiest, but that doesn't mean anything.
Right. If you come across as I'm the all right actor, yeah, okay, yeah, that tells.
Fair enough.
That says everything. So, and that's it. There's no other news to go along with that, sadly. But hopefully we'll get more stuff coming down the road. Marvel is doing a pretty good job playing things pretty close to their chest, although we will get to, you know, the big Marvel orgasm at the end of the show.
Tom Holland away from it.
But our next bit of news is There we go. Fade that over. So the tall gentleman there is the wonderful and completely bizarre director and, in this case, actor David Cronenberg. In case you didn't know, he actually has a recurring role in season 3 and upcoming season 4 too of Star Trek Discovery. 41 Brother, worship of Talos is strictly forbidden. I think that's a reference to something else. But the news is that Cronenberg is making a new movie, science fiction movie called Crimes of the Future, which is going to star Viggo Mortensen, Lea Seydoux, and Kristen Stewart. And it is, as they put it here, the first original science fiction script by Cronenberg since 1999's Existence. And not so distant future where humankind is learning to adapt to its synthetic surroundings. The evolution moves humans beyond their natural state and into a metamorphosis, altering their biological makeup. Boy, does that sound like Cronenberg body horror coming up.
Yeah, since I saw Existence, and yeah, pray for me.
Yeah, Existence is a weird movie. Videodrome is a weird body horror movie. That's what he does.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it. I'm looking forward to this. I don't know if Greg in this you lost me at Kristen Stewart. Yeah, come on, man.
She's a pretty good actress.
Go watch The Runaways, dude.
Hey, I'll drive out there, man. Give me a box your ears.
Yeah, I never made it past 15 minutes of any Twilight movie because it sucked. She sucked. Everybody sucked. I get it. But as Joan Jett in The Runaways, she freaking killed it. She's a good actress.
I liked her in American Ultra.
Yes.
And she has that. I can't remember the name. It's on my list of things to watch. But she has that that Hulu movie where she's a lesbian going home for Christmas, and that one looks really good. I got to look at the name. It's
Yes. Nope, can't think of it. But Greg, have you ever read Greg Bear's book Eon? If you have, this sounds to me very much like Eon. And there are things in Eon about very quick biological mutagenic stuff that is, wow. Really disturbing. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I can't wait. Good cast. It's going to be creepy as hell because that's what he does. And our next topic, this. So I apparently missed the news that the upcoming HBO Max series about the Green Lanterns is going to focus on Guy Gardner. And the reason I know that is because they just announced this past week that this guy, Finn Wittrock, who is the one who is not Guy Gardner in this picture, has been he's from American Horror Story and other things. He's been cast as Guy Gardner. If you are not familiar with Guy Gardner from Justice League, the Green Lanterns, the DC, oeuvre in general, he is the best horrible person to be a Lantern that they could ever have possibly picked.
Nobody likes him.
Nobody likes him. Okay, well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure his mother probably likes him, but
well, I mean, it depends on where in DC universe and their history are you pulling that from? Because
they did flip that in the animated series actually, where he was besties with the Guardians. They're like, "Hey, Guy, my man."
In the comics, in the early runs, he was absolutely a thunder talk of an asshole.
Yeah,
and he treated people like crap a lot of time. He well known for beating the crap out of Ice while he was dating her and emotionally abusing her in so many different ways. It's always funny sidebar that I always know all the heroes that do that too. But anyways, and then he did his warrior phase where he lost the ring and had that mutation thing going on.
Yep.
And then he kind of fell in line. So he's still kind of a prick, but he's more like your friend who's a prick, as opposed to like this just out and out like I'm trying to compete with Marvel in the '90s kind of edginess.
Yeah. And I was watching, I can't remember which YouTube channel was doing this coverage of things. It might have been Nerdist. And they bring up the point that the reason he is still, even with all of his problems, a Lantern is that, the Lantern's power is based upon your willpower, and he is so insanely arrogant. He's more powerful than Hal Jordan when it comes to willpower. And
But he also has a massive temper on top of that.
well, yeah, and then he does. Yes, he has a massive temper, and he's just the kind of guy that that an actor would just love to play, because he's going to be that arrogant jerk that ultimately is a hero when it comes to the big picture stuff, even if he's a jerk individually.
Yeah, and Creeper King, I definitely think there'll be other Lanterns. I doubt they'll just center it on him. If they have, like, they probably won't necessarily have Hal Jordan, but they might poke out Kyle Rayner, Kellogg, like a few of those people.
Jon Stewart.
So, according to this piece right here, we already know a little bit about it. It's going to take place through various times, starting in 1941 with Alan Scott, who is an FBI agent initially, and gay, as he is now in the comics, and run through 84 with Guy Gardner and Bree Jarda, who I think is a newly created character for the show, half alien character, and it looks good. It's already, I don't know if you guys know, I hate even to use the name, but there's a website called Bounding Into Comics, which is literally the website for Comicsgate fans who want to still read news about comics, but filtered through that garbage. And their headline about this is literally about how CW has, cast this show with Guy Gardner and a gay Alan Scott and a woke woman half alien character. Literally, that's their term in the headline. And I'm like, God, oh.
Anyway. I'm probably going to avoid that, like I avoid the Clownfish TV channel.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I would avoid this website. Don't ever give them traffic. But
yeah, anybody who writes that drivel doesn't deserve my attention or time.
Exactly. But anyway, speaking of asshole superheroes, the next news is real simple stuff. It's just that Invincible has been renewed for both seasons 2 and 3 already. And I think that news dropped, is actually before the finale this past Friday. Because apparently it was doing that well for Amazon. It will be the topic of this Thursday's 2 days from now. Full fat spoiler chat. So folks, if you want to talk about that, if you've seen it all, tune in at 8 o'clock Thursday. And I'm really, really excited for season 2 and 3.
Agreed.
Yes.
It is a really fantastic show. Annoyed with people spoiling the ending. The spoilers don't bother me, but they bother other people, so they get upset.
Yes.
On behalf of other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're not going to talk about the ending.
No,
because this isn't
no intention to.
You're right. This isn't full fat spoiler chat, but if you do want to talk about it, join us Thursday.
It'll be fun.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. They do an excellent job of both bringing us to a I wouldn't say satisfactory, to an acceptable conclusion to some of the action of this season, and wonderful cliffhangers and suspension for the next season and the seasons following. So
also bring your tissue box.
The pacing was really good. The
pacing was great. Bring your tissue box and bring a mop and some Clorox. It's this isn't giving anything away because it's bloody as all get out. But yeah, excellent. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm so glad that they did this. I can't wait until whenever it is that they do the next 2 seasons. Given how I don't think the animation is going to be particularly difficult. It's not super complex animation. So it's got to be when all the voice actors or when all the actors are ready, because this cast is like all almost entirely working live actors.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, we're going to be talking in 1 minute or less about where one of them is going to be, in addition to working as the voice of Omni-Man in Invincible. And that is, of course, the absolutely fantastic J.K. Simmons. I was going to use a J. Jonah Jameson, but I couldn't find a really sharp one of him recently, which is, of course, from the end of Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming. And all of the other ones from back in the previous Spider-Man movies, you know, he looks quite a bit younger. And the reason I wanted to use one where he looks a little bit older is because he has been cast in the upcoming Amazon sci-fi series Lightyears, replacing Ed O'Neill and working alongside Sissy Spacek. Ed O'Neill apparently had to leave, according to this article, for family reasons. It doesn't go in any deeper than that. Luminous. More Invincible. Season 1 was very engaging, surprisingly impressive cast. Concise and accurate, and no spoilers. So Lightyears follows Franklin and Irene York, an elderly couple who years ago discovered a chamber buried in their backyard that inexplicably leads to a strange deserted planet. They've guarded the secret for years, but then some, you know, mysterious young stranger shows up at their door, and things get weird. I like the idea. You know, it's got a little bit of, you know, Scalzi's Old Man's War, and a little bit of, you know, Stephen King's Castle Rock series, you know, all sort of rolled into one. And it's got J.K. Simmons and Sissy Spacek. So, yes, please.
Yeah, that sounds pretty solid to me. I just wish that I'm not so envious, because that man is like, what? He's in his 50s, 60s now, and like he looks like he could just bench press anyone, and I'm here like just trying to take a deep breath to walk to the bathroom.
He's popping a good bicep there in that photo. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Damn envious, man. Good for him.
Well, I mean, yeah, he maintained that figure from wasn't we Whiplash for a good couple of years now.
That is from. And 41 Brother with the joke, did Omni-Man chuck a chair at his son for not making his tempo? Well done.
Damn.
Well done. What the hell is the term? It's not rushing and lagging? No, what are the two terms? Anyway. 41 Brother, remind me what the two terms, what is going too fast and too slow in Whiplash. But anyway. So yeah, J.K. Simmons, hardest working man in show business. Well, not really, but you know, he's right up there. All right, and this is Stargirl from the Stargirl series, which is moving from the, well, now completely defunct DC universe to CW. And the news is that CW has set premiere dates in this summer for Stargirl, the final season of Supergirl, and then something like Roswell and Riverdale and so on. August for Supergirl. Come on, scroll down. Give me some dates here, like actual real dates. Oh, here we go. So Sunday, July 11th, Legends of Tomorrow comes back. Oh, series premiere of Wellington Paranormal. We talked about this a little while ago. That's the spin-off series from What We Do in the Shadows about the Wellington, New Zealand police officers who have been tasked with investigating all of this weird stuff, and they really could care less. It's supposed to be hilariously funny. It's been running for, I think, 2 seasons in New Zealand already, and it's finally coming to HBO Max, or CW, I guess.
I really got to get around to watching Stargirl, because I actually heard it was really good, and like I keep meaning to. It's one of those many things I keep meaning to, but I think I'm gonna kick it in this month since I have all this time off now.
Definitely.
Stargirl, August 10th season premiere, and Supergirl, August Well, they say original episode Thursday, August 19th, but that doesn't sound like it's the season premiere, even though they say season premiere in the headline. Anyway, so if you're a fan of those, now I watched, I think, half of the first season of Stargirl, and I liked it, but I don't know why it didn't catch me. I like the cast.
Maybe it's just formulaic or something.
Hmm?
Maybe it's just like formulaic or something, because I know.
Yeah, it's a little bit that way for sure. And maybe I just didn't give it long enough to really build the villains. Part of it is that the villains, you don't get any real sense of villainy other than actually the very first episode, which is a sort of flashback. And they're really villainous. But when Stargirl gets involved, I think it takes probably most of the first season for the villains to really step up to the plate. And I was just getting tired of it. But
I could understand that. I have a lot of friends. I had actually a discussion about something similar with some friends the other day, and yeah, like sometimes you just want to get right to the villain and not have to have like a lot of stepping stones to get up there to like when they're really going to start hitting hard.
Right. And if they make it difficult for the hero to become the hero, well, that's your conflict and your drama up to the point where then once they get to that point, then you can bring in the good. In this case, it's not really that. I mean, she takes up the mantle of Stargirl pretty easily, pretty quickly. So yeah, it just didn't hold me. But again, your mileage may vary. Moving on to our next topic. I really like this news. So this is Dominique Fishback that just appeared on your screen. Fantastic actress. This is from her role in Power. The hell was the name of that movie? It wasn't Power Pill, because that's what they take. But anyway, it's in here somewhere. I'll look it up. The news is that Dominique Fishback has been cast as the co-lead in the upcoming reboot of the Transformers series. E1, which is Hasbro's entertainment division that they bought. They completely bought this enormous Entertainment One movie making and TV operation. E1, Paramount Pictures, and Hasbro are rebooting the Transformers franchise. The co-leads are now Anthony Ramos and now Dominique Fishback. I absolutely...
That's awesome.
It is awesome. I watched this Project Power. That's what it is, with Jamie Foxx. I watched Project Power. It was a pretty decent movie. I liked it. She was amazing. I didn't realize that she was one of the key characters in the HBO series The Deuce, because that's how good as an actress she is. The character isn't anything like her character in The Deuce, like not even close. And I have yet to see the role that she was nominated for awards for, which was in Judas and the Black Messiah.
Oh my God, such a great movie.
Yeah, it's one of those that's like, I know I've got to see it, and then I watched the Academy Awards and went, okay, well, of course I have to see it. And I just haven't got around to it yet. I should have watched it this past week when I was house sitting at a house that had a giant 65-inch mega TV. Damn it. Anyway.
It's really, really quickly, like, watching that movie made me love Tupac Shakur more, purely because in one of his songs he mentions Huey's death, and like it's a lyric that I never connected until I saw that movie.
Yeah,
because that's like that type of history is never.
5 shots in the dark. Now Huey's dead.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, Dominique Fishback is going to be helping to drive a Transformers reboot. Thank God. Michael Bay has nothing to do with it. As Creeper King says, suck it, Michael Bay.
I'm hoping that Hasbro, because I recall reading that this was like years ago, actually, that Hasbro is trying to turn a lot of their properties into movie universes now. Like,
oh yeah,
and one of my favorites, Mass Crusaders, is something that they've been trying to option for a while.
I'd have to go back. I didn't bring it up, and I should have, because we did something else that Hasbro was doing last week.
Was it Power Rangers?
Nope.
Okay.
But that had the list of everything that they're working on, and you're right. It's literally every intellectual property they own or have their hands in. Hasbro is trying to make a movie franchise out of it.
Well, yeah, they've done such a good job in like the IDW comics, like doing massive crossovers with all their established properties, like again, Mask and Transformers and G.I. Joe.
That's what it was. It was
yes, the Snake Eyes movie.
Snake Eyes. Yes.
Yes.
It was the Snake Eyes movie. And they had a list of all of the things. And we talked about that actually in that show, about how in the comics they did create a massive connected universe by having these crossovers. So they could certainly do it, in the movies.
I'm here for it, definitely.
Power Joe Ranger Formers. Let's see it.
Okay, yeah, definitely would love to see like Optimus Prime go up against a Megazord now. So, I'm here for that.
Fantastic editor, but need to work on making names for movies, franchise things.
All right, I'm good at headlines, maybe not good at names. All right, I'll take that. Next topic is, we talked about this actually last week, about the fact that we got the date for the upcoming season 4 of Castlevania, and like I think the day after our show, they dropped the trailer for season 4 of Castlevania. So go out there and watch the trailer, and then May 13th, so like in a little more than a week, folks, you get to see season 4.
That was a sexy ass trailer.
It was a sexy ass trailer. I think they gave away too much of what the sort of surprise horror villainy thing is.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
So, and then other than that, it kind of looked like, okay, well, we get to see them fight more people, things, monsters, creatures. They hint at the fact that there is like really big changes coming up when
don't
Night Creature Maker.
I'm terrible at names.
The black guy from Egypt, the Night Creature Maker. Anyway, it looks like he's like pulling his own power play, and if that's the case, yes, please, I want to see that storyline.
Yeah, and I wonder if that storyline that you want to see is going to be one of the spin-off series,
which we talked about as well. That this is the final season of this, but there will be a spin-off series.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't know whether it's spinning off the general Castlevania franchise or characters from this series. So, Creeper King, that would be epic and horrible. I believe talking about the, Transformers Megazord battle. 41 Brother into the Hasbro-verse. You're on it, 41 Brother. 100%. Keep them coming. But yeah, so we don't know what that spinoff will be. I'm kind of keen on it. We also know, we're pretty sure that it won't have Warren Ellis involved because, Warren Ellis, accusations of sexual impropriety, so that's probably why Castlevania isn't getting a season 5. So
it's for the best.
It's for the best, and God damn it, Warren Ellis, keep it in your pants. Too late, but anyway, so check it out, folks. I think it looks even better than season 3. I think the animators again stepped up their game.
I hope so, because I was a little iffy on season 3.
Yeah, particularly that was one of my criticisms of it right out of the gate. That first battle or fight where they're fighting the things in the forest and they're running through the trees. I kind of looked like, I don't know. There's some issues with movement and Sakuga in general.
Yeah, I'd say for me the problem with season 3 was more of the writing, because like it kind of just was like Dracula has always been at the forefront of like 95% of the conflict within the Castlevania verse, and it's like, so like season 3 was like, so now what do we do?
Right. It's like, well, let's have some. I mean, admittedly, really cool additional vampires, and they're all chicks, and it's really it's exciting and femme positive and all of this other stuff. But yeah, they kind of
See, kind of for me, like I agree with you guys. For me, it was more like Trevor had a good storyline with Cypher, and the female vampires had it pretty solid. And then it was just like Alucard, I'm gonna eat eggs.
Yeah.
Talk to myself, and then have weird sex.
And then there was the ending of Alucard's arc, and I'm just like,
yeah, like
why did this happen?
I'm like, I don't. Everybody's hot little like twink boy like gets like the lamest storyline.
Yep. Yeah. No, I agree. But this is not full fat spoiler chat Castlevania, so we're going to move on to our next topic. But Creeper King, is it just me, or did Disney do a spinoff into a spinoff? And you're not referring to this, I don't think, because yeah, that's sort of their thing. You make the point, prequels make spinoff, aka Clone Wars, and Clone Wars goes into the Bad Batch. What do you think? The Mandalorian, is a spinoff that is now spinning off Ahsoka Tano and
Book of Boba Fett.
The Book of Boba Fett, and maybe, depending on whether or not they continue the casting,
Rangers of the Galaxy.
Yeah, it's not Rangers, something like that. Rangers of the New Republic.
Yeah, there you go. We were there.
Yeah. So they spinoffs on spinoffs on spinoffs. Hey, it's Disney. They make money.
Yeah, you want to say that to the mouse's face there, buddy?
All right, moving on to our next topic. So we finally get our first look at the upcoming movie, The Tomorrow War. This is an Amazon Prime movie starring Chris Pratt. And I didn't know much about it. Pratt stars as Dan Forrester, a high school teacher who's recruited by time travelers to transport into the future and fight for the fate of his planet. If you look at the trailer, it's really giving off, Battle Los Angeles meets Edge of Tomorrow vibes.
You know what it made me think of? What was that sci-fi show that they actually filmed in Massachusetts up near Boston? Like the aliens invaded.
Oh crap.
Yeah, same. Like it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember. It was filmed up near like Dorchester or something like that.
Yeah. Because it was set actually mostly in the corridor between Boston and DC.
Yeah. It's gonna drive me crazy. Anybody in the chat know? Any of you guys know that it was a sci-fi movie where aliens invaded?
Or series.
Series. Yeah, sorry. Sci-fi series where aliens invaded and the Massachusetts Irregular Regiment or something like that was fighting against them. It was on TBS, or TNT.
I can't remember which one. I think TNT. It starred Noah Wiley.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds familiar.
And did it have Moon Blood God as well? I think maybe.
It had a decent cast, including a bunch of good local, Massachusetts actors. Greg Snyder, Ghostbusters 2018. No, that was not the name of this series.
Greg, I'm gonna shave your beard off. You keep pulling these shenanigans.
Yeah, it's gonna bother me too much. So yeah, I
Greg,
agree.
you like hands? You want hands because this is how you catch these hands.
I agree that it does give off those vibes. It's a good point. No, it's not Red Dawn, Greg, but it has vibes of Red Dawn.
Stop.
Look at the trailer. It looks like it's well made. The problem is it doesn't give us really anything about his story. The trailer is so far almost entirely, oh look, future fighting, and Chris Pratt looking worried. So I don't know whether or not his story is going to be anything.
Falling Skies.
Falling Skies. Thank you.
Yes, that's it.
It was driving me crazy. I had to look it up because it's going to keep working my tit.
All right. And since that basically tells us everything we need to know about how exciting we think Tomorrow War is, time to move on. Um, that right there is the absolutely freaking outstanding, wonderful Gina Gershon. From so many wonderful, wonderful things. This
and some not so good things. Showgirls.
well, yeah, but she was great in it.
Facts.
But the news is this, folks. Let's bring that back. This is your Mad Moxie in the upcoming Borderlands movie.
Shut up and take my money.
So all of the Fallout, no, Luminous Fallout. If you're thinking Fallout is the name of the series we were thinking of, no. And if you're thinking Fallout is what this is from, no, it's Borderlands. But yeah,
they have similarities though.
If we're all still a little salty about the Kevin Hart casting, aside from all the other, I mean the Cate Blanchett and all of the other fantastic, Jack Black as the voice of Claptrap. I mean just
yes,
this nails it. For me, there are a lot of people who would be good in this. Gina Gershon is right near the top of that list.
She's perfect for the role. I mean, she is like, you look up the word sex symbol in the dictionary, you're more than likely see her face next to that definition because she's got Moxie swagger, she's got that curtness to that Moxie has, and we can't wait to see her in that costume.
I figure they're going to tone it down a little, but
hands up near the camera.
Hands where we can see them, and nothing else. 41 Brother, but yeah, it's essentially in the same vein as Battle LA and Edge of Tomorrow type film, which is what I said. But yeah, I agree. Thank you for agreeing with me. I want to see it now. I mean, I wanted to see it anyway. I'm really looking forward to what Eli Roth does with it. I'd like to see him do something that isn't just schlock horror. And
it's gonna be a good time. It's definitely gonna be a good time.
Yes.
Yep.
Like I'm totally down for it, even with Kevin Hart, because if I haven't learned anything over the years, it's the fact that people tend to be very reactionary with whatever casting they don't agree with. But then again, we have people like Heath Ledger who step into a role and they kill it, and everybody was like, "Oh no, he'd never be able to do that role." And
he absolutely
knocked it out the park.
Changed the way the character is portrayed forever, frankly. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I forgot Jamie Lee Curtis, one of the other.
Yes.
Jesus.
Queen Nerd, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Please. Anyway, time to move on to all of the gushing and the sycophantic noises. That is one of the screenshots from the Marvel. It's not a teaser for the Eternals, although it's the first look we got at the Eternals. It gives us a lot of information about other movies coming up in Phase 4 that we didn't know for sure. But what really it is a please come watch these movies in a theater. Please, begging us to please watch these movies in theater. 3-minute long commercial. It's brilliant. It's takes a speech from Stan Lee from 2014, I think they said, or 2017, and uses that as perfect material to talk about why it's a good thing to be next to and with other people. And clearly the message is, for them, that means go to the movies. And so they show us why. And they start off in the second half of this 3-minute thing. We get another cut of kind of a shorter Black Widow teaser, but it's one of the longest things in there. Then we get another look with a little bit of different footage from Shang-Chi. And then we get our first actual footage from the Eternals. Or just Eternals, the name of it. And it doesn't tell us much of anything, but boy, does it give us a look at some of the characters. The image that I used for the thumbnail for this, that is Angelina Jolie as Thena. with apparently one of the many weapons she can create physically out of cosmic energy, that being a kind of like energy sword thing, and it's gorgeous, and her costume is gorgeous, and Chloe Zhao has said, I sat down and I just said, I'm going to do what I normally do. So it's like most of this movie is shot at the golden hour. I use sweeping, spinning camera, panoramic shots. I'm doing all of this stuff. And I'm sitting there waiting for somebody in Marvel to tell me to stop. And nobody did. And I was like, yes, please. Cinematography in Marvel movies is up and down. Some of it's really amazing. Some of it's pretty pedestrian.
Yeah.
None of it is auteur. And I get the impression that this is going to look like a superhero movie shot like Nomadland. For which she won Best Director, so... I'm really looking forward to this. Aside from the cast, aside from the story, aside from where it's going to set up Phase 4 and Phase 5.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, you have like if you're making a movie of the Eternals, you have to like really step up that A game, because this is like a cosmic opera. Like Eternals isn't like Inhumans or X-Men or anything like that. They're their own little like space gods up there with the Celestials, like borderline with the Celestials. So you gotta make them look like they're godlike, or no one's gonna accept it. Especially nowadays, because people have a tendency of just not wanting to be immersed. They struggle against immersion and things like that. So you got to give them something a little extra.
So, I mean, that level of escalation, according to some speculation, in the comic books, the Eternals are created by the Celestials. They are uplifted and mutated humans, proto-humans, that are given these amazing, powers. But the Celestials, for some reason, also created these, what they were called back when Kirby created, subhuman deviants, who are just as powerful, or almost as powerful, but more numerous and evil. They're the bad guys. Some of the speculation that I've read, even going so far as saying that this was from leaked, early scripts, which I don't know if this is true or not, is that the deviants were created initially by the Celestials to be sort of the guardians of proto-humanity, but became evil, and then the Eternals were created to counteract the deviants. Thanos is one of those deviant type,
I've heard
godlike level celestial creations. And that would make sense. That would be, that's not the way it is in the comics, but that would make sense as a way to sort of tie in the whole Celestials, Eternals, etc. into existing MCU canon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and we have to like finally put behind us the fact that the movies and the shows are different from the comics. So making the comparison, like, it's cool to make those like overt comparisons, but like you gotta let the movies do their thing, man. You gotta let them create their universe, or else we're never gonna be happy with anything.
Yeah.
Well,
And brother, good point. Yeah, because Rodney was busting out the rhymes just a moment ago.
I don't even remember what I said, 41 Brother or Lewis, so please feel free to fill me in, but
I would say that going off of Lewis's point about not trying to stick so close to the canon of comics, we've gotten to a point in in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now where you almost expect it to you almost expect deviation from what is, especially like in-game cemented that. It's like in-game and Captain Marvel cemented that. It's like, okay, we're doing our own thing now. So I'm looking forward to seeing, as someone who's not really familiar with the lore of the Eternals, I'm interested in seeing what becomes of it.
Yep. And I have to admit, I didn't read the apparently brilliant Neil Gaiman, John Romita Jr. Short run, that they've combined into a graphic novel. from years ago. I'm familiar with them going all the way back to when Jack Kirby created them. And I don't think I've read much of anything other than their interaction with Thanos and others, other Titans and so on, in the comics in the mid 70s and later 70s. So I'm almost as a novice as you are, Byron, when it comes to what's probably going to be this storyline.
And honestly, I'm envious of the two of you for being a novice in it, because I think when you're not as like biased and having read all the comics like I have, then you get to enjoy it a lot more. Like, that's not to say, when I say me, I don't mean specifically me, because I enjoy anything. I can divest myself from prior knowledge, but like a lot of people, it's always like, but it's not like the comics, or like it's too far from, and it's like, bro, shut up and just enjoy the damn thing.
Exactly. So in addition to this first look at Eternals, we found out a couple of really important things, specific dates for upcoming movies, and titles for movies. So we know that Ryan Coogler's Black Panther sequel will officially be called Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Where is Creeper King? Where is Star Trek Day? We have Star Wars Day. There is a Star Trek Day, right? There's something. Anyway. It might be in November because of the Enterprise designation is always 11 something. But getting back on track. So Wakanda Forever, we don't know anything about what it's about. And I'm hoping it's going to be something other than just, kind of a filler movie where they're, giving us something to enjoy while they try to figure out what they're going to do with the loss of Chadwick Boseman. But, I'll still watch it, of course.
Yeah.
Wakanda Forever, Forever. The
Absolutely.
sequel to Captain Marvel is now called The Marvels. And the logo has the S at the end is Kamala Khan's
Yes.
on her tunic, the S that's on her tunic, the modified lightning bolt from Ms. Marvel's previous Carol Danvers version of Ms. Marvel. But in the A of the Marvels is a stylized version of Monica Rambeau's chest symbol when she was in the New Avengers called Spectrum. So I'm guessing she's going to take the name Spectrum. And we know that Monica Rambeau is going to be in the movie. So it looks like they're setting this up as 3 Marvels, which makes me wonder how they're going to tie in Monica Rambeau, getting the name Marvel. If she's given it at all, maybe they're just saying the Marvels because we know that she was Captain Marvel before Carol Danvers ever was.
Right. Different ways to interpret that.
Yeah, and also to add to that, they finally have leaked images of Kamala Khan in the Miss Marvel costume.
Yep. Now that happened outside of this particular thing, but it's a really good, very accurate to the comic book costume.
Yeah, she looks amazing in it.
Yeah, and yes, I'm gonna mess up her name if I don't have it right in front of me, so I'm not gonna try. Does look amazing in it, and it's not surprising that it's really accurate because it is a fairly simple tunic, leggings. She is a relatively true to her heritage Pakistani American Muslim, so she is pretty covered. About the only thing that wouldn't be tradition is she has no head covering. She does have a face mask, but and it looks great. So thank you for bringing that up. I would have forgotten that. The end of this entire run, they get to the last thing, and in May of 2023, we get the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and then it goes to just a blue circle starts appearing with a 4 in it with no date. But they are telling us that Fantastic Four is coming after Guardians of the Galaxy. If the close implication to Guardians of the Galaxy is the case, and their normal release schedule for movies is the case, are they hinting that this is going to be like the July 4th weekend 2023? They've named a director.
Yeah, that would work. And knowing Marvel, they're going to start sprinkling a lot of Fantastic Four tidbits throughout their shows and movies, because that's their thing when they start staging big things like that.
Yep. Yes, they do.
Like, we still don't know for sure if the aerospace engineer that Monica Rambeau was talking about was that major that showed up with the moon rover thing, or the major was just the delivery person.
Yeah.
And the aerospace engineer is Reed Richards. Maybe could still be. Who knows?
I mean, look what they did with Falcon and Winter Soldier, where it's like they just shoehorned in Mandrapore out of nowhere.
Which makes sense. It's great. You need a seedy, criminal underworld city, and you at this point it probably wouldn't make sense to try to use Hong Kong, which back in the 80s and 90s would be where you would just automatically put that. But
I see you, Feige. I see you, Feige.
Yep. Mandrapore is very X-Men.
It is very X-Men.
Yeah. I mean, the only way they could be more on the nose with that is if they use Genosha. Just saying.
And they did drop an Easter egg. One of the bars they walked by was the bar that Wolverine owned. So,
yes, sir.
Anyway, enough wild speculation. I will just end with this thing about the first. Go watch it if you're any kind of a Marvel fan. It literally made me cry. Listening to Stan Lee for almost a minute and a half talk about how he loves being around people, or loved, while showing us where Marvel came from and ending it with actual footage of audience reactions from the premiere of Endgame starting right at the point where Cap hears "on your left." And it's goosebumps, absolute goosebumps. And then I realized that literally that first half is just a commercial for please go watch our movies in the theater or we're going to lose money. That kind of made me sad that they used Stan for that, but I get it.
Yeah.
But the rest of the stuff, it's again, if you're a Marvel fan and you're looking forward to these things at all, it's nerd boner time. 100%. Yes. So on that note, that's it, folks. That's our show. Gentlemen, do we have any could we please or could we nots?
I do not, but Creeper King, I will answer your question very quickly. First contact day is April 5th, so you missed it already.
Dang.
Thank you. I knew there was one official. It's first contact day, April 5th.
Yes.
Yep.
Could we please just do what we need to do to get through the remainder of this pandemic? We're so close. I'm getting my first shot tomorrow. I'm so pumped.
Oh yeah.
Yay.
I
am yeah, it's back Sunday. So I am now 2 days past my 2 weeks after my last shot. So I'm good.
Hell yeah.
So
congrats, gentlemen.
Yeah, this is not the time you're getting lax.
Yes.
It's not the time we need to be as vigilant as we have been through the entirety of this.
Yep.
I kind of realize that we can't make everyone get the shot or make everyone follow the rules, but do your part. If you have a conscience, if you have working brain cells, just do your part.
Here.
Yes. Get vaccinated. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to give you 5G.
But I want superpowers.
Maybe it'll give you superpowers. It hasn't for me yet, but oh well. and it certainly hasn't cured my allergies. Anyway, so thank you all very much for coming, folks. Lewis, if you would give us a goodbye.
Well, thanks again, everyone, for joining us in the chat. I really enjoyed all the comments that you guys were kicking in on there in the dialogue you had with us. So please come check us out every Tuesday. Plus, check out our other shows if you have the time. Once again, it's Luis Correa, Crash the Stampede on Twitch, or if you want to play some Borrow Trauma, which is the new game I like playing. Have a fantastic evening.
And Byron.
Hey guys, Byron D0, Byron McNeil, whichever you want to call me. I'm basically on all the major social media platforms. I do a lot of stuff on Instagram. Hoping to get back into streaming once things settle down in the near future. But again, just check me out on Instagram. It's BD0Art. Have a good night, guys.
Cool. Folks, check us out at patreon.com/nerdcaliber. If you want to help us out, we have 2 very low dollar amount tiers, and that's it. Basically, it's just there for you to, if you like our stuff, to help us make more stuff. That's pretty much all it is. But patreon.com/nerdcaliber. Thursday night, like we mentioned, Invincible on Full Fat Spoiler Chat. We'll be spoiling everything right up until the ending of season 1. So if you haven't seen it, don't tune in. If you have seen it, do tune in and chat with us. Next Monday, No Nerd Caliber will be our top 3 to 5, depending on how many people we have on our team, favorite martial arts movies or TV shows in celebration of the fact that Full Fat Spoiler Chat that week will be Mortal Kombat.
I think I want in on that one.
Well then, Joe, you know where the group is.
Yep.
So anyway, that's it, folks. Thank you all for joining us. Good night, everybody. 41 Brother, I wonder if the microchips are working. I don't know what you're talking about. And good night, all. That just hurt my neck. Let's not do that again. Bye-bye.